Hello, Ashley.
Taryne Renee. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Did you know
No.
it's impossible to hum while holding your nose? Try it.
When you say holding, you mean like clothes?
Yeah.
Holding clothes? Yeah. I guess the air comes out of your nose. Yeah.
ASMR. Today's episode is brought to you by HelloFresh.
The new year is a great time to focus on what is most important to you, whether it's saving money by ordering less takeout, learning to cook, or prioritizing your wellness. HelloFresh is here to help with endless options to make cooking at home simple and enjoyable. HelloFresh delivers pre-portioned ingredients to your door, including farm fresh produce that arrives within a week, so you get convenience without skipping on quality. Skip the trip to the grocery store, saving you the wait in the long holiday lines and ensuring you don't waste money on excess foods. I'm obsessed with HelloFresh because it's 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal of the same quality, and you save on an average over $65 per month when you order HelloFresh instead of grocery shopping, which is more money to put towards those other 2022 goals of yours.
Go to HelloFresh.com/advice16 and use code advice16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/advice16 and code advice16 for 16 free meals and 3 free gifts from America's #1 meal kit. Today's episode is brought to you by Squarespace.
Squarespace is everything to sell absolutely anything. Squarespace has the tools you need to get your business off the ground, including e-commerce templates, inventory management, a simple checkout process, and secure payments. Whatever you sell, Squarespace has merchandising features to make your product look its absolute best. You can connect with your audience and generate revenue through gated, members-only content, manage your members, send email communications, and leverage audience insights, all on one easy-to-use platform. And I love Squarespace because I have a ton of different platforms, and with Squarespace you can display posts from your social media profiles on your website, automatically push website content to your favorite social media channels so your followers can share it too.
So go check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/advice to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Again, squarespace.com/advice.
I love that that's the first sounds people hear. Yeah, this episode. Oh, shoot.
Welcome.
They're like, what are we listening to? If this is the first time you've ever listened to our podcast, I swear we're cool. And we
No,
actually
we're not.
advise. We
We're
actually
not.
advise, okay? We have solid. Anyways,
I'm done.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back to Unsolicited Advice. I'm Ashley. That's Taryne.
Taryne.
And we are the podcast that gives you advice on things that you write into us. And it's been so fun because you guys share all of your life situations. It could be fun, it could be sad, it could be lots of, questions, big questions, could be scary.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've lived a lot of lives thanks to you guys.
Seriously. It's funny like how often me and Ash will be like, we'll be like with friends, right? And like talking about random stuff, and then we'll be like, oh my gosh, so someone wrote in the podcast, and we'll like share stuff that we've like heard from you guys or talk about.
Well, you
or
know what's
talked
even
about.
funny is I'll be like, oh yeah, I know someone who blah 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 blah, and then I'll be like, oh, I guess that was a podcast listener, not like a friend,
They
like,
are
well, no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Like, I'd be like, oh, I was just talking to someone the other day, and I'm like, well, I guess it was on the podcast.
Kind of, yeah.
And that happens to me constantly.
Oh my gosh, all the time. Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. We are nothing without you.
Fun things.
Nothing. Is there anything new we want to talk about?
It's almost the end of January.
Oh, dear God.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, this year's gone by really fast.
Did anyone set goals?
And slow.
Are we achieving? I don't even want to talk about mine.
I really have not kicked in yet.
You know what?
I have
Baby
an
steps.
idea
Baby
of what
steps.
I don't know. The more I feel like resolutions I've learned, the more specific you are, the more you kind of like get set up for failure. So I feel like I don't know, because like I remember like when I was younger, I used to be like, I'm going to work out 5 days a week, or I'm going to like lose 30 pounds, like, which was so sad. Mine were always like based off weight, because that was something I like definitely mentally struggled with.
People,
yeah. But then it'd be like, I'd have a week where like I couldn't work out. And I'm the type of person that like, once I fail at something, I'm like, forget it. Like I don't reset well because I'm so competitive and like whatever. So, yeah, I just feel like life is so, what's the word? Unpredictable. And sometimes like when you're so specific, like you don't take into account like everything that comes with it. So I feel like I've learned to be much more like, you know what, this year I'm going to work on really trying to like take care of myself or prioritize like my career or whatever it is. And I try to make a more broad and ideas of stuff that is going to be a lasting impact, you know?
Yeah.
So all that to say, I've definitely thought about those things, but just because like I already would be so mad at myself because I'd be like, oh, you didn't do like this, and this.
Yeah.
But I'm more just like, no. This is like a sprint.
That's so interesting
not
to
a marathon.
Me because
wait, this is a
marathon,
what?
not a sprint.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's so interesting to me because I feel like I'm almost the opposite. Whereas like I feel like if I'm broad, then I don't have something specific to focus on and then nothing gets done. I'm definitely more like I need specific, otherwise I won't do it.
Yeah.
Which is so weird.
No, but that makes sense to me. Like you're like a list person.
I need
like you're
like one of the things that stuck the most was I was 2 years ago, I think, I was like, I'm going to make my bed every day. That was one of my resolutions. Stuck.
Yep.
Because it was so specific. Like so every morning, make your bed. And
on days that you don't, does that affect you?
Yeah.
Okay. But you're able to just be like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow.
It's not even that. It's like, oh, it's 5 p.m. Make your bed.
Got it.
Just because I didn't do it in the morning today's not over.
Yeah.
Do better, Ashley. That's literally what I say in my head.
Oh, it's ruined.
Yeah.
Why did I even try this?
It's like, I missed my window and now it's unmade all day. And I'm like, I'm opposite. I'm like, you still have time to check it off.
Which I think is so important because I think we tend to just be like herd mentality of like, oh, this is how everyone else does resolutions. This is how I should do them. But you really have to like check in with yourself and like
what feels right to you.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Anywho, learn from us. I don't know. Well, I don't know why my voice cracked so intensely. Okay, can I read a Taryne app?
Yeah, I would love.
Do you want to describe what it is?
Yeah, guys, if this is your first time listening,
where have you been?
The Taryne Up segment is one of my absolute favorite segments. Basically, this started because my bestie over here is so awkward and clumsy, and the funniest stuff happens to only her. And I thought it was a thing that only happened to Tara and Renee, but then when she started sharing her life situations, you guys started writing in and going, wait, no, this happens to me too.
Yep.
And your guys' stories are hilarious, so we created a whole segment called Tearing It Up, where you guys can send in just the most embarrassing, awkward stories. So if you have one,
please send it.
This is your sign to write it in.
And honestly, like, you can be anonymous.
Someone get this girl a cough drop.
You can be anonymous.
Sounded like a smoker over there.
The air is very dry today, Ash. You can be anonymous. You could write in like literally your most embarrassing.
Yeah. No one needs to know.
No one needs to know.
We need to know.
Yeah. But we all need to know, but like we don't need to know.
Yeah.
This one is titled, actually, I'm not going to say the title.
Ooh, does it give too much away?
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Brooke, and I am a new listener and love the pod.
Welcome.
My sister told me about it, and now I have gotten me and all my friends hooked.
My girl. Yes. Slow clap.
We need it. We should do that.
Bad.
Wait, let's do the clapping intuition. Ready?
Don't we have to close our eyes? Ready? Okay.
I was like, wait, this is so easy. Okay.
Wait. Okay.
That was close.
That was off.
But it was close.
I was like, me too. I want to watch that video back because I literally was. Oh, man.
Okay. For some backstory, I am like Taryne in the way that all the things embarrassing happen to me. But this is all partly my fault to begin with because I'm super clumsy. I'm always spilling things and sometimes I forget to pay attention. Okay, here's the story. It was Christmas and my aunt, uncles, and cousins had moved houses a few months prior. My sisters, my cousins, and I have busy schedules, so this was our first time seeing the house. It was all good, well, until my younger cousin started to cry. She was 6 at the time and I was 12. My mom reminded me that I had brought a portable karaoke mic in the car because I thought it would be fun to use, and she told me to go and get it so we could cheer up my crying cousin. I thought this was a great idea, and I went to go get it.
I love a portable karaoke mic.
I've never had one, and I feel like
It's time.
that's best for everyone in my life.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like you would wake me up with it.
What's the weirdest thing you hear walking by my room?
You talking to Charlie. Oh, I had a full revelation the other day because one of our favorite shows as a household is New Girl. And my whole life, I've always been like, Taryne, you're Jess. Like, she has the most Jess personality. She's a teacher, like works with kids and like is just fun, goofy, blah, blah, blah. And then it hit me one day. It hit me because I was walking down the hall, and I remember, for those of you that don't know, my room is across the hall from Taryne's. I walk to my room and all I hear is her talking to Charlie, and I realized Taryne Renee is Winston because Winston has his cat Ferguson and all he does is weird stuff in his room with this cat, and I was like, that's Taryne.
And I love puzzles. Winston is about to do some puzzling. I hate it, but it's
so true.
It really is.
It's so
it
true.
Really is.
It's so funny. I love it. It's my favorite story to tell.
You know what? Maybe that's why, like, when I first started watching it, I was like, he wasn't my favorite character. The more I watched it, the more I was like, why do I love him so much? Because he's me.
An underdog, and I don't think people give him enough credit for how funny he is. It's because the Schmitts of the world take over, but like Winston's hilarious. This literally only New Girl fans are laughing right now. Yeah. Everyone else is like, get back to the story. Yeah. We hear you. Okay.
We're
yell.
Going. Gosh,
don't raise your voice.
Okay. Jeez. I put my coats and boots on because winters get cold up here in Canada.
Oh.
I've still never been to Canada and I would love.
I've been once.
I want to go to see a hockey game in Canada.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways. Then went to get the mic. I got it and then walked back into the house. Oh, I hung my coat, took my boots off because of the layout of their house. When you walk in, you can take the stairs up or you can go down a hall into the kitchen. My cousin was upstairs in her room crying when I left, and I wanted to go to find her and show her what I had. So I walked up a few stairs and looked up, but weirdly, her room looked empty. I walked back down and went into the kitchen, and my family was gone, and there was just a lady standing there. I was confused and thought maybe my family went outside, and for some reason my cousin's other grandparents came while I was in the car, and that's who I was seeing. But before I could think anymore, the lady goes, I am so sorry, but I think you have the wrong house.
No.
Don't worry, this happens all the time. My name is Linda. How sweet.
What?
Linda sounds like she's the sweetest.
I don't know what I would have done.
I mean, luckily she's 12.
And she has like a karaoke mic.
Like, she's clearly not a threat.
Yeah.
But still, it would be like,
it would have been startling. There's a random child. Yeah.
I apologized and then walked back into my cousin's real house, which was next door. I am now 14 years old and a freshman in high school. And to this day, my family finds this hilarious. And whenever we go to my cousins, they always ask me if I want to go say hi to Linda. Thanks so much for reading my story. Lots of love, Brooke.
Linda.
What
a gem Linda is.
Linda. I think she is a gem.
Yeah.
Have I walked into the wrong? I think I have walked into the wrong house once. When I went to like a gathering at this random person's house. And it was the same thing where like, I walked in for a second and then I walked out to go get something for my car. And when I came back, it was like the wrong door.
Yeah.
But it was very like literally like as I went to open this, it was like a screen.
Yeah.
I made eye contact with this like man inside, and then I was like, this is the wrong house, huh? And he was like, yeah. And then I like booked it. But
I've never done that, but the closest I ever came actually happened this past Halloween. My friends were having a Halloween party, and I've been to their house multiple times. So I felt like very confident walking up there, but I hadn't been in a while.
yeah.
But I've been multiple times, but I hadn't been in a minute. Yeah. And it was dark, and there was like Halloween decor on all the houses. So I'm walking up with 2 friends of mine who had never been to this house before. So they're fully trusting me. And like, same thing. Like we get very close, and we like look through the window, and I make eye contact with someone, and I was like, I don't know who that is. And then I was like, well, it's a party. Like,
yeah.
You know, and then I walk over to the door, and I see more people, and I was like, I don't know anyone. And then I like have a full blown, like, I was like, is this the right house? And I was
Where
like,
am I?
It's not the right house. It was the house next door, and it was so funny.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually walk in. There was
take your boots
no
and coat off.
Linda confrontation.
Aw, she sounds sweet.
Oh man.
What makes a murderer's mind tick?
That's a good question.
It's what I really would love to know. It's why I listen to all my podcasts. Mm-hmm. Killer Psych is a true crime podcast from Wondery that explores these types of questions about the crimes that killers and criminals commit.
Killer Psych covers high-profile cases that shocked the world, and host Candice DeLong uses her 5 decades of experience as a clinical psychiatric nurse and FBI criminal profiler to dissect the motivations and behaviors of the most terrifying felons in history. And you'll definitely want to listen to a recent episode of Killer Psych where Candice looks into the mysterious murder of Ted Ammon, a wealthy Wall Street financer. Ted had been going through a divorce with his wife of 13 years, Generosa, and millions in assets and child custody were at stake. Generosa and her new boyfriend, Danny Pelosi, were the prime suspects, but Generosa died of cancer before police could prove her involvement. In 2004, Danny was convicted of second-degree murder, but still maintains his innocence, questioning how someone could murder the father of their children.
My favorite thing about true crime podcasts in general is when they dive into why, like the childhood, like what happened in their lives to like create this pattern that leads them to stuff like this.
Especially someone who's so qualified.
Yes. And that is my favorite thing about this podcast. And I think there's so many things to pay attention to of red flags in people or things we can do to try to help others so it doesn't get to this point. Listen to Killer Psych on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or you can listen 1 week ad-free by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app.
I'm going to go ahead and dive into my story for today, which is titled, Should It Be a Bye for Now or for Forever?
Oh. Let's take a guess. Oh, you already know.
I'm going to say it's probably forever.
I was going to guess forever.
Just feels right.
Yeah.
We'll see. Hi, Taryne and Ash. I adore you both and all that you do. I've been an avid listener to the podcast and consistent viewer of both your YouTube channels for years now, and I couldn't be more grateful that I have crossed paths with the two of you via the internet.
That's so nice.
You guys are too kind.
You are.
First, to get this out of the way, I'd like to remain anonymous. And now let's get into it. I like how she worded that.
I love when people specify in the beginning.
Yeah. And it's like anonymous. It's in bold. Like it's like anonymous.
It's like I am anonymous.
Check. Got it.
Do not say my name.
Yes.
We've never, knock on
wood. It hasn't happened
We've never,
yet. Going into this podcast, we were like, we are going to get an email one day. Where they're like, we said no.
I feel like we err on the cautious side. Like, if someone sends an email, but they don't put anonymous or a name,
we assume.
I don't like read the name that's in the email address. Yeah. I'm like, let's just
anonymous.
Assume.
Yeah.
Anonymous.
Anonymous. Okay. For the past 10 months or so, I've been feeling emotionally hurt and personally disregarded by one of the most important people in my life.
Oof. Disregarded?
Disregarded.
That's a very
strong
and sad word. Sorry.
By one of the most important people in my life, my best friend, and let's call her Kelsey. Kelsey and I have been best friends for a long time, and it'd be an understatement for me to say that my friendship with her was the best friendship I've ever had. But that was before she consistently started prioritizing other people above me. She would make excuses to not hang out with me, and I would later find out that she would hang out with someone else in that time. Or a lot of times, she would make plans with me, but then cancel last minute because inevitably, quote, something came up. There was one time she deliberately chose to hang out with another person while I was deeply struggling, and she knew I needed her. Also recently, she's left me on, quote, delivered a couple times for more than 24 hours when we were in the middle of a conversation. And for the past couple months, her responses to me seem more shallow and meaningless. All the while, I've found out frequently through Facebook and our mutual friends that she's been getting closer and closer with other people and hanging out with them more and more and more. I've had a lot of trouble dealing with all of this because this girl's supposed to be my best friend, right? Recognizing all of this has made me so nervous whenever I would see her in person. What if I accidentally say something wrong that could drive her to not talk to me for days? What if I say something to make the situation even more daunting and heartbreaking for me? However, even with thoughts like these, I disregarded my feelings of extreme sadness and loneliness for a long while, and I continued to give my effort into our friendship every single day by texting Kelsey and sincerely checking in with her. Sometimes I honored my feelings and tried to open up conversations about this with Kelsey, but we both just get emotional during these conversations and nothing changes moving forward. The only thing that changes is the fact that each time I feel even more helpless than I did before. And each time we've tried to have a productive conversation to, quote, fix our friendship, I've always been the one to start the conversation. Kelsey has never showed interest or sincere concern in our friendship unless I have. I've poured so much of myself into this friendship because it meant so much to me in the past, but for the past month, I have been putting in the least amount of effort towards our friendship, and I've actually felt happier. But I'm just confused now. I still think about what went wrong in our friendship for her to start acting like this, but I can't think of absolutely anything. And Kelsey hasn't told me a reason for the state of our friendship in one of our past conversations either. So now I'm wondering, should I just spend some time apart from Kelsey? Or should I try to heal from this without closure and cut off a little part of our friendship that's left? If so, then how? Any thoughts about the situation would be greatly appreciated. Also, I'm a 2 on the Enneagram, so Taryne, as you can imagine, this situation has been weighing so heavily on me for what seems like forever. I love you guys. Sorry this was long. It was not. Anonymous.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope it made sense. Anonymous.
Oh, man.
Oof.
It's so funny because the whole time you're reading it, I was like, ugh, like just so heartbreaking. And I always try to like put myself in like, this is me, right?
Yeah.
And then
it's kind of our tactic when
yeah,
we read your guys' stories.
Yeah. That's why we're so good at it.
I am her. She
I
is
am
me.
her. She is me. And so I was just thinking like, oh, like my worst nightmare, right? And then she says she's a 2 and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Wonder. Yeah.
We're the same.
This is so hard, dude. Friendship
stuff is the worst. We've
The
talked about this on the
actual worst.
podcast before.
Yeah.
Any relationship stuff, guy stuff, whatever, it all hurts and it's hard. Friendship stuff stings 10 times harder than any kind of like boyfriend drama that I've ever had, that Taryne, I'm sure that Taryne's ever had. And it's just heartbreaking when it appears like 2 people might be growing apart.
Yeah, like I don't think about my ex. I mean, I do every once in a while because I've only dated one guy. So like anytime something comes up about relationships or dating stories or whatever, obviously like he comes to mind because he's all I've like experienced. But when I think about him or he comes up, there's no sadness there because like it was honestly like the best thing that could have happened. Yeah. But to this day, anytime like I randomly will think about my best friend who we had like a really rough friendship breakup, it like my heart hurts. Like I wonder like how he's doing. Like he had a baby. Like I can't believe like I've never met the baby. Like it still is so like painful to think about that relationship ending because he was someone I thought would like always be in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same. Very similar situation. I have, had numerous heartbreak with guys. Nothing can compare to I had one best friend growing up and we don't talk anymore. And I can't even, like, that's the one thing that I think makes me sad.
It stings,
is
right?
That we to this day, like, we just don't talk. And
Yeah.
and what's different, or actually I would say I went through a very similar situation to you, Anonymous, where nothing specific happened. There wasn't a dramatic breakup or this big falling out moment or a yelling at the top of our lungs and then we agree to like not see each other anymore. It was a slow fade.
Yeah.
And it was really like, I saw it coming, and I remember multiple times being like, oh, I haven't seen her in a minute, and then realizing, oh, it seems like she has a different friend group now that I wasn't involved with. And I remember watching that slowly happen and having a moment where it was like, well, do I go try to like force myself into this new friend group?
Yeah.
And inevitably I ended up not. And I don't regret anything. Like, I think I made those choices for a reason. I think she made her choices for a reason. And people are allowed to grow apart. It doesn't mean that I don't love her anymore. But it's sad to watch it happen slowly.
Yeah.
And knowing that you could probably try and it won't be the same, but you could still be like friendly. But sometimes there's no reason to.
Yeah, well, especially if you're the person that's getting like left behind, like it's hard. It's like, I don't know. I just think for me, like when I hear your story, I think there's obviously like multiple ways you could go, right? You could have another big dramatic conversation where you just tell her like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I will say that to an extent, the more of those conversations you have and nothing changes, the more I think it damages you. So I would be careful. Like we've said it before, like you shouldn't have to convince someone to like love you. But if you feel like that would be helpful for you to like get something out, I think you can have a conversation.
Yeah.
You could totally just cut her out and like move on with your life and do what you have to do. But I think there's also like a third option that I feel like people don't utilize as much. And I think if you come to a place where you're like, okay, it is what it is. It's hurting me, so obviously I have to create some boundaries. But I think that there are certain people that we can keep in our lives that they come and go, and if we happen to be around and we want to hang out and it works out, then like cool, and you can go and hang out with her and have fun and laugh and like all this stuff.
Yeah.
But you still can walk away with like, but I'm not putting any like dependence on her. She's not anyone I'm like looking to for my own happiness. So it's like you can still step away and be like, I accept that our friendship is what it is right now. But then if she hits you up, instead of it being this big like, oh, she thinks she can come around and just like text me now and hang out with me now, you can just be like, cool, like yeah, I'm totally free on Wednesday, I'm down to hang out, and go and have fun and then move on with your life like the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to always be like that. So I think you just really need to check in with yourself. I will say as a 2, it's a lot harder to do for people who are so like, if I love you, I give you my whole heart, you know?
Yeah.
But I do think I have friendships nowadays that I don't think we would be friends if not for the fact that we've been friends for years. And when they come around, like I take it for what it is and we have so much fun, but I'm not like, they're not necessarily the people I would call when I'm having a hard day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had the experience of watching my mom and her best friend go through a dramatic breakup.
Yeah.
And one thing I remember telling myself then was I remember being like, you can have more than one best friend and there's a reason for that. And I agree with what Taryne said. No one person should have the power to make you happy or not happy. That doesn't belong on anyone else but you.
Not in romantic, not in friendship, not in like family,
life
nothing.
Partners, best friends, dogs. No, I'm just kidding. No one should have that power over your life. That belongs to no one but you. And I fully believe that the only person that can change your happiness is you. And all that means is prioritizing yourself. So I'm not saying you need to go find a new best friend, but maybe find a friend to hang out with that can fill you up and actually pour into you. And then when you do see your friend, your best friend, you can connect with her also, but you should be able to be happy without hearing from her every single day.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Taryne said. I completely agree. I think there needs to be some kind of separation where you learn to find happiness and love and acceptance and fulfillment on your own. And then I feel like when you do hang out with Kelsey, you'll be able to appreciate and love her where she's at, because she's clearly like experiencing something or going through something, or who knows what.
Yeah.
If she could share, that'd be great. That'd be really helpful, Kelsey. But that leaves a buffer to protect you. And in the end, you have to protect yourself.
Yeah.
No one's going to protect you over themselves.
Yeah, and I think what's hard is the title best friend. It's not given lightly. And I think there is an expectation that comes like when, I know for me, like if I have someone that I call my best friend, they are the person that I feel like
that you go to,
would be around and would be there for me and knows what's going on. Yeah. So I think that title, there comes like some expectation, and rightfully so.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yes. I'm just going to throw this out there. If anyone knows Andrew Garfield, I really feel like we're soulmates. So I would really appreciate like the connection. Thank you.
Hook it up.
Anyways. But I think it's okay. Like maybe she is not your best friend anymore. Does that mean you guys can't be friends? And does that mean, like come a year or two later when like your lives are in different chapters, you can't pick back up? No.
Right.
Like it's not some like final thing.
Yeah.
But I think for you, if you're something like me, I think taking that pressure off the relationship of being like, okay, I love her and I love what she was to me in this last chapter of my life, but like our friendship is not the same as it was. And so I need to like adjust, Yeah. And that's fine. I think that's okay.
Yeah. And I don't think you mentioned your age. I'm scanning right now and I don't see your age. But it feels like you might be late teens, early 20s. 20s. I'm a guess 20s. Either way, you feel younger. And I mean, in the grand scheme of life.
Yeah. Because we're so old and wise.
Because we're just, 30 now and full of wisdom.
Yeah.
I think this is actually very normal for all people to meet new people and try new things. And we talk about this in podcasts all the time, like learning about yourself and what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And surrounding yourself by new people all the time is one of those things where you learn about yourself and who you click with. I agree with Taryne. I think there feels like you're trying to make this finality decision that I don't think needs to happen. I don't think it's necessary. I think you feel hurt, and so you're feeling like this is the end of a friendship.
Yeah.
But I don't think it has to be at all. I think separation is healthy, distance is healthy, and as long as you stay friendly with her and prioritize yourself, I think you guys can still be friends while you like navigate through this next chapter of life.
Yeah, like the difference is if you're like, hey, I got tickets to like a show, do you want to go on Thursday? If she's like, oh, I'm busy, then you'd be like, okay, and then you find someone else to go with. Versus now it would be like, hey, would you want to go? And she says no, so you feel like hurt. You're like, of course she's probably hanging out with someone else. Like there's so much tied to it, which I think you need to cut and just be like, it is what it is, and I'll take what she gives, and I'll give what I can give. But other than that, like, you need to find other people that are going to invest in you the way
I
you
agree.
need.
Kelsey needs to freaking share what's going on, but also I think you're taking a lot of things personally that you don't necessarily know are factually personal.
Yeah, like take some of your power back.
Yeah.
Of your emotions,
Anonymous, you got this. We're proud of you. Friendship stuff is sticky, but I think you're going to handle it well.
Yeah. So though I think I'm smart when it comes to technology, I also am very aware that when it comes to stuff like building a website or like certain templates, all those things, I know nothing. So do I need to learn? No, because I could just head over to Squarespace and they can do it for me.
Guys, let me break this down for you a little bit. Squarespace is everything you could possibly need to sell literally anything. Squarespace has the tools that you need to get your business off the ground, including e-commerce templates, inventory management, a simple checkout process, and secure payments. Present your videos from YouTube, Vimeo, and Animoto all on Squarespace. You can add an image overlay to your video to improve the website's load speed by waiting to embed video players until playback starts. And you guys already know everything that I do is all online. I have multiple platforms, and that can be confusing juggling everything. One thing I love about Squarespace is it connects all your social media accounts into one area. You can display posts from your social profiles onto your website, automatically push website content to your favorite social media channels so that your followers can share it too.
So go check out squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/advice to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Again, squarespace.com/advice. I feel like I say this a lot, but I can be a lazy person. And especially when it comes to cooking, I tend to if I'm running out of time, just decide to order out, which is not always the best. And that is why I love HelloFresh because first of all, their recipes are just next level and they make it so cute and easy. You know what I mean by cute?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Everything's laid out. Everything's separated, just what you need. And it literally makes it so easy to make you feel like a gourmet chef.
The new year is the best time to focus on what's most important for you. So whether that's saving money by ordering less takeout, learning to cook, or prioritizing wellness, HelloFresh is here to help with endless options to make cooking at home simple and enjoyable. I am obsessed with dinner time. That is one of the only times that me, my sister, and my roommate love to gather together and eat our meals. Sometimes though, I'm really not in the mood to find a recipe or run to the grocery store and get all of the ingredients. And that is where HelloFresh comes in. I am currently obsessed with their butter-based sirloin steak, which is served with cream spinach. Something about the cream spinach just feels like a splurge. And I love it. HelloFresh also offers 50 menu and market items to choose from every single week, including veggie, calorie smart, family friendly, and gourmet options, providing plenty of variety. Recipes like hibachi sweet soy bavette steak and shrimp bring restaurant quality meals right to your kitchen, while their white cheddar Wonder Burgers make it easier than ever to skip on the takeout.
Go to HelloFresh.com/advice16 and use code advice16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/advice16 and code advice16 for 16 free meals and 3 free gifts from America's #1 meal kit. Well, moving on to the other type of relationships.
Ooh. Romantic ones.
My story is titled Male Validation. Ugh. Ugh.
That's a great title.
Yeah. I feel like I nailed that well. UGH. Ugh. That's how I type it. If I'm like UGH, if I just text it, it's ugh.
I read ugh.
Ugh.
Like the slipper.
You know? Ugh. I appreciate this person too because they started the email with just saying anonymous.
Yeah.
Love it. Hi, Taryne and Ashley.
Hey.
My name is, I'm not going to say it,
anonymous.
But I would like to say anonymous, please. I am an Enneagram 2 wing 1 and I am an INFJ. I still need to take that. I don't really know what I am.
I have taken it, but I haven't researched it, so I'm not confident. And I'm not going to say anything about it because I don't trust myself.
I feel like I am both of your personalities wrapped into one, which
we both share.
I'm a 2 wing 3.
Oh, yeah.
But you're a 9 wing 1. Mm-hmm. So yeah, she is right around that.
A little bit.
In a recent episode, Taryne said she wanted to know everything. So here is everything.
Oh, thank God.
Currently, I am a first-year Psych and English major at a pretty good school. Not Ivy League, but definitely for smart kids.
Love that.
I love that for
Rock
you.
that.
I love
What's that
for
like?
You. I don't think I could have gotten into smart person school.
I feel like I wouldn't have been accepted.
Interpersonal relationships over my education. Major. I feel like I fit in except in one category. And that category is love. I thought you were going to guess.
I wasn't.
With me?
I wasn't there. I wasn't on the same page. I'm so sorry. Should we try it again?
Nope. It happened.
1, 2, 3.
Love. Thank you. All right. Here's the backstory. My whole life, I've been single and craved male validation. Probably because of my daddy issues. LOL. You know what? We all have some type of issue.
Yep.
Don't worry.
Yep.
So when something traumatic would happen, I tended to hyper focus on a boy in order to cope. Oh, I get it. Like that was her yeah. Okay. In 2020, I went through the worst thing in my life. My little sister, who was 14, passed away from cancer.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. It breaks my heart. I loved her so much and I still do. She was my best friend and I miss her every day. Anyway, that being said, I had to cope. So I hyperfixated on a boy and I based how I felt every day on how many times he looked at me, if he talked to me, etc. Bad cycle. Later on, after going through therapy and such, I realized I had a male validation issue. So I came to college and decided I was going to be my own B word. Love it.
bish.
Love it. In the first semester, I was confident, happy, and proud of myself. I have never felt cooler in my life. I was doing my own thing for myself, and this is hard for me because I have social anxiety. And just doing your everyday baddie stuff. I was going to parties and I felt good. Until a boy came in my life. I turned back to my old ways and put all my worth into what he thought of me. I still ended up feeling good because for some reason he was obsessed with me. We hung out quite a bit and I ended up really liking him. Then I realized I was starting to feel insecure again, especially around him, probably because he's a skinny boy, which nothing wrong with skinny boys. I'm just thick, so it made me a little insecure.
Love a thick.
I'm right there with you, girl. Long story short, I cut my hair, got a nose piercing, and ended things with him.
Hell yes. I love that.
I love her so much.
I love the sequence in which that happened. Yes.
I think I felt like I was going to fall even deeper into my male validation loop. Now that I have ended things with him, though I feel weird, I feel like I don't have a purpose. I find myself being extremely jealous of my friends and relationships, and that never used to bother me. What I'm getting at and what I really need advice on is how do I turn back into the girl I was at the beginning of college? How do I love myself as I did then? I miss the way I used to be and I don't want to fall into the trap of male validation again. Any advice is appreciated. Then she put hype section. I didn't do in the beginning, but you ladies are literally amazing. I actually feel like I know both of you and you are my big sisters. I've been listening to you guys through everything I have gone through and you have helped shape me into who I am and who I want to be. Listening to your podcast reinforced my passion for being a therapist. Yay, therapy. I love you both so much and you deserve the world. Also, Ashley, watching you and Alicia interact, oh my God, it's going to make me cry. Makes me remember what it was like to have my sister with me. So keep doing what you're doing and appreciate your sister for everything. Oh my God, that she is. Love you, ladies. Anonymous. Wow.
I'm unwell.
I'm unwell too.
I'm so sorry.
I know.
I cannot. Oh my God. I feel like we should just go into that first. I can't imagine what it must be like for you and the amount of strength that you must have to like pull out every single day just to live life. I cannot imagine. And I just want to applaud you for moving forward with your life and continuing forward. I'm sure that's what she would want. And I don't want to talk about this anymore.
I know.
But to the question at hand, I think that this kind of coincides with the same thing that I was talking about in our other story. I think what's happened is you are giving too much power to someone. And in this story, this life situation, it's these guys who don't even realize that they have this power. And I think it's really interesting. I used to do that a lot in high school. I didn't date in high school. Like I had a boyfriend. My first boyfriend was in middle school, and then I didn't date for all of high school. I didn't jump back into the dating scene until college. Multiple reasons. One, I don't think I was in a good place to date. Two, all the guys in my high school sucked. Like there were slim pickings. All the good ones were taken. So it just wasn't an option.
And three, your haircut.
And I also resembled a boy. So maybe they didn't even realize I was.
Wait. Can we please post?
Yeah.
Any excuse I have to post that photo.
I was rough in high school. So I feel like I also, because I wasn't dating and I was not cute, I think it forced me to also kind of fantasize about guys in like older grades that I had crushes on, but like were not an option for me.
Yeah.
I would like pass them in the hall and be like, oh my God, they looked at me. Or like, I'd wear a cute top and wonder if they noticed, even though I never spoke with them.
Yeah.
Like, this was all in my head. But like whether they like looked at me, passed me, possibly like brushed hands or something, like that altered my day. And I know it's something we all do, but it shouldn't have. Like, it shouldn't make me happier, less happier, what someone else does. And it goes back to the story that we were talking about earlier with Kelsey and the friendship. Only you can make yourself happy. And I'm sure your therapist has told you this, because it sounds like something a therapist would say. Just tooting my own horn here for a second. You have to take that power back. And you can't let literally anyone make you happy or not.
Yeah. I think obviously me and Ash are both like very close with our siblings, which it sounds like you were. Like, my brothers are my best friends, and I like mentally can't even go there to imagine like what that would be like losing one of them. So I think you need to give yourself so much grace and space to like, it makes sense that you needed a way to cope. And I think that, yes, in the long run, like, this could be something that's harmful and you do need to pay attention to it. But it sounds like you're very aware of like why you crave it and like why that became something that you needed for happiness. It's kind of like when I talked about like binge eating and what my therapist said. Like, binge eating basically becomes like, I was sad one day and I ate food, which caused my body's chemicals to like release things that made me feel happy. And my brain was like, whoa, I was sad and you just did that and that made me feel better. So the next time I got sad, it craved that. And that's how that cycle happens. And I would not doubt that the same thing happened with you. Like, you were in such a low place and then you got attention from a male, which made you feel distracted and happy for a second, and you started to crave it. So like, it makes total sense to me.
Logical.
Yeah. And what I would say, like, for me to break that cycle, it was like recognizing when those feelings would come and then learning how to replace that action. So like, when I would get sad and I would have that intense craving for food, being like, okay, I'm going to pick up my phone and call a friend, or I'm going to start a Lego set, or I'm going to start like trying to replace it to start to break that cycle of every time I feel sad, I need to eat.
Yeah.
And I don't know like how much correlation could be drawn to like where you're at, but for me, that was something that helped. And I think you are in a cycle that you're like desiring to break. So I would definitely like explore that. You mentioned you went to therapy. I don't know if you're still in therapy, but that would definitely be something I would suggest.
We so recommend therapy.
Yes. And you said we reinforce your passion for being a therapist. So I don't know if that means you're currently in school doing it or if you already have your degree. But either way, like, I know when you do, like when I was going to school to be a therapist, like you're able to get hours like in your own therapy. So I would definitely explore that and see what options are out there. But I just think you have been through so much. And I think that you have every right to be coping and trying to figure out how to make yourself feel better in those times. But I think because you are aware of what's going on, this is like a perfect time to like jump into finding that. And I think what was different in college is you had a very big shift. You're like, I'm going to college, I'm going to be different. And you entered into that. And so I think maybe like that's needed again of like, okay, I'm going to enter into this new chapter, whether that's I'm swearing off dating for a while, or maybe I'm going to make myself continue to date, but be extra like intentional about what I'm giving and the time I'm spending, and kind of like almost like immersion therapy, right? Like I'm going to put myself in the source of the problem, but see if I can learn different ways to navigate.
That's literally what I was going to say. I was going to say, moving forward, you either need to separate and work on yourself, or you need to have a plan diving into dating. Taryne and I feel like we've been talking about this a lot with different people. Sometimes it really depends on who you are as a person. So check in with yourself first. Sometimes it's so much better to just go on the date, but have like a full plan of like what that's going to look like, what you're allowed to do, what your boundaries are. Is this just we're just talking? You're not even trying to find a boyfriend. You're just trying to be social. Or are you trying to date? Like, figure out what those things are first before entering into the dating scene, so that you feel safe and so that you are protected.
I agree.
Other people would rather not date at all, not let anyone in at all until they feel safe on their own, and then go into dating. Nothing. Both ways are fine. You just need to figure out what works best for you, so that you're protected. Because that's all we want. That's all you want. That makes sense?
Yeah. And I think too, like, I feel like you're in a hard place because it's like, I love food and food does make me happy. And I think I went through this stage of being like, oh, I can't eat when I'm sad. And like, I can't let food be like something that makes me happy. Where instead I had to learn how to shift to where I could be happy when I eat food, and I love to eat food. And there are days where I eat just like way too much because like the food was so good. But there's a difference in the motivation, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I'm not doing it as a Band-Aid. I'm doing it because I enjoy it. Yeah. So I think like male validation, I think it's super healthy and normal for you to be like, yeah, that guy's checking me out, and like he just said this, and like whatever. Like, I think that's what is like fun about relationships. So it's learning how to like be like, yes, I can enjoy this and not feel guilty about enjoying it, but I also need to realize the times I'm seeking it to fix me, or I'm enjoying it because it's coming, and like, of course I'm gonna let it gas me up.
100%. One of the running jokes in our house is that Ashley dates a lot, and I like became aware the last few years that I love dating. It's so fun. I love getting ready for dates. I love feeling a little nervous. I love like the first few dates when you're just asking a bunch of questions. And I think there have been times where I felt lonely, and I was like, I'm going to hop on the app and I'm going to go on a date because I was feeling insecure or lonely or not enough or whatever those reasons are. And that's where you need to be self-aware, because it's okay to like guys. It's okay to want to go on dates all the time. It's okay to want male validation. It's okay to like food. Like, that's living. And what's living if you don't love food and love dating, you know, like, anyways. You want to be able to live life, but the second you feel like that tinge of, am I like needing this right now? That need part is not okay. And that's when you need to check yourself.
And I think you in college, you starved yourself of it. So the issue wasn't there because you just fully like were like, it's not there. So I think that's where the unrealistic part came in. So I think you do need to find ways to let yourself enjoy it and not to be like, oh my God, I'm like getting attention and I feel good and oh, this is unhealthy.
And
but it's
evil.
Like, so it's just kind of like separating all the pieces back out and learning like how to bring them in a healthy way. But
100%. Taryne Renee, well said.
Yeah, thanks, Ash.
That was good.
But yeah, Anonymous, I'm sending you my like entire heart, and I just hope that you are able to keep, you know, remembering your sister and bringing her everywhere with you, and heal and all the things. But I really wish you the best.
Oof, same. Love you.
Love you.
If you ever see us in real life, I don't know when that would happen. I don't know if life would permit this, but if we ever see each other in real life, please let me know who you are so I can hug you, because I would love that.
Oh, wait, this is kind of perfect. Okay, because we said this sentence earlier. With great reflexes comes great response ability.
No.
Did you get it?
Yeah. I love that we just said it. Oh man, I finally saw Spider-Man, and
so good.
Guys, oof, so good.
Andrew Garfield, people.
All right.
I just have a feeling we're meant to meet.
Guys, we made it to the end of the episode. If you made it all the way to the dad joke, we love you the mostest. Be sure to check us out on all of our social platforms where we continue the conversations that we have here on the podcast. Like and subscribe and share this episode with anyone who needs it.
Yes.
And yeah, love you guys.
Love you so much. Bye.